When you think about sister wives, the drama, the breakups, and the never-ending battles with Cody usually come to mind first. But this past year, the Brown family's story took a heartbreaking turn that was unlike anything fans had ever witnessed before. It wasn't about jealousy, polygamy struggles, or moving from state to state. It was about real loss. Janelle Brown, who for years has been one of the most steady and grounded voices on the show, experienced the kind of tragedy no parent ever wants to face: the sudden death of her son, Garrison. And if you've followed Janelle through the series, you know she's been the rock of her children, the one who fought quietly but fiercely to protect them when Cody pulled away. Seeing her forced to stand in the middle of such grief left fans gutted. How does a mother even begin to pick herself back up after that? Hi friends, my name is Olivia, and welcome back to TLC's Sister Wives Secret. If you love staying caught up with everything happening behind the scenes of the Brown family, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and share your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one, and I know so many of you are grieving right alongside Janelle and her kids, so let's talk about it together. The truth is, Janelle's story right now isn't just about grief, it's about resilience, rebuilding, and somehow finding light in the middle of so much darkness. While she's mourning Garrison, she's also taking bold steps forward, finally creating the life she's always dreamed of. After years of temporary housing, RV living, and feeling pushed to the side in the family dynamic, Janelle is staking her claim on something permanent: her own home in North Carolina, close to her daughter Madison. And it's not just a house, it's a symbol of survival, of moving forward, and of creating a safe space for her children and grandchildren to gather. But this story doesn't just belong to Janelle. Her son Gabe, who has also carried enormous pain after finding his brother, has been navigating his own path toward healing. While his relationship with Cody has been strained for years, fans are now watching him step into a new chapter, rebuilding his life in ways that feel fresh, hopeful, and authentic. So the question becomes, how do Janelle and Gabe take all this heartbreak and turn it into something that feels like rebirth? And what can we as viewers learn from the way they've chosen to keep going? From the very beginning of Sister Wives, Janelle Brown has always been portrayed as the practical one, the steady hand in the middle of chaos, while the other wives often found themselves caught up in drama or seeking emotional validation from Cody. Janelle was the one who quietly focused on her children and tried to keep life moving forward. But if we're being honest, that practicality came at a cost. Over the years, fans watched her live in rentals, move from state to state, and even attempt RV living on the family's Coyote Pass land, something that might have looked adventurous on screen, but in reality was more of a desperate attempt to hold on to a dream that Cody never supported. Janelle was left out in the cold, both literally and emotionally, while Cody prioritized his relationship with Robin, and it became clearer season after season that Janelle was surviving, not truly living. That's why the news that she's finally breaking ground on her dream home in North Carolina feels so powerful. For the first time in a long time, Janelle isn't waiting for Cody's approval or trying to squeeze herself into a family plan that never seemed to include her. Instead, she's building something that belongs entirely to her. The land she's chosen is right next to her daughter Madison's property, and that choice speaks volumes. It's not just about having a house, it's about creating a foundation near the people who have always supported her. After years of temporary stops and uncertain futures, Janelle is finally planting roots in a place that makes sense for her and her children. And the vision she has for this home is just as meaningful as the decision itself. She's talked about having a porch where family can gather, a space that feels welcoming and warm, and a garden where she can grow her own food. These aren't extravagant dreams, they're simple, heartfelt ones, but that's exactly why they matter so much. A porch isn't just wood and nails, it's a place where grandchildren can run barefoot, where her kids can sit and talk late into the night, where laughter and memories can live. A garden isn't just about vegetables, it's about nurturing life, creating stability, and staying grounded after years of being pulled in too many directions. Watching Janelle move forward with this project feels like one of the most powerful transformations in the history of the show. She's no longer a secondary player in Cody's story, she's the main character in her own. And for fans who've followed her journey for more than a decade, seeing her claim this happiness for herself is not only emotional, it's inspiring. It's proof that even after heartbreak and years of neglect, it's never too late to start fresh. Mother's Day is usually a time of celebration, but for Janelle Brown, this past year it carried a heavy mix of emotions. Losing Garrison so suddenly has left a hole in her family that can never really be filled. And yet, in the middle of that pain, her daughter Madison found a way to give her mom something that wasn't just a gift, it was a reminder that love and family endure, even in the darkest seasons. Madison surprised Janelle with a plant, but not just any plant. The pot was decorated with the tiny handprints and footprints of Janelle's grandchildren. To anyone else, it might look like a simple craft project, but for Janelle, it was priceless. Every little print was a piece of her grandchildren's growing lives, a physical marker of the future she still has to look forward to, even as she carries the past with her. Fans could see how deeply it touched her when she shared it, and honestly, I don't think there was a dry eye among the Sister Wives community. this gesture carried even more weight because of what Janelle is going through. We've seen her talk about Garrison with so much love and pride, and we've seen the pain of losing him written all over her face. Having those small imprints of the next generation close to her isn't just sweet, it's healing. It's a way for her to be reminded daily that while she lost one child, she still has so many reasons to keep going. The love of her daughters, the laughter of her grandchildren, even the messy fingerprints, they all represent life continuing around her. And for someone who's walked through the kind of grief she has, those little signs of life can be everything. Not long after, Janelle marked another milestone, her birthday. Instead of throwing a big party or trying to cover the sadness with something flashy, she chose something quieter and more meaningful. She took a trip with close friends to Santa Fe, where they visited historic sites, explored museums, and spent time in places of reflection like the Loretto Chapel. What stood out was how simple it all was. It wasn't about putting on a show. It was about surrounding herself with history, beauty, and companionship, things that feed the soul. Fans who followed Janelle for years couldn't help but admire her choice. It showed that she's finding ways to celebrate life again, but in her own authentic way, and the reactions online spoke volumes. So many viewers said they were inspired by her strength, and by the way she's not pretending to be okay, but instead choosing small intentional steps toward healing. For a woman who spent so much of her life in the background of Cody's story, Janelle is now standing on her own, and fans are not only noticing, they're cheering her on. One of the most surprising ways Janelle has been letting fans into her healing process is through her garden. On Instagram, she's been sharing little updates about what she's planting and harvesting, things like cauliflower, broccoli, and even a steady supply of crisp lettuce. She's also admitted that weeds have been a constant battle, but instead of sounding frustrated, she laughs about it. For Janelle, pulling weeds has become more than just yard work. She's described it as a kind of therapy, a way to clear space for growth, both in the soil and in her own life. When you think about it, it's a powerful metaphor. After years of dealing with toxic dynamics, broken trust, and feeling overlooked by Cody, here she is literally removing what doesn't serve her and making room for new life to take root. And then there are the moments with her dog, which tug at the heart in an entirely different way. After returning home from her birthday trip to Santa Fe, Janelle shared how emotional she was to be reunited with her beloved pet. She called her dog's little gray face adorable and admitted she cried with happiness to see her again. It might sound small, but for someone who has been through the trauma of losing a child, that kind of unconditional love is priceless. Animals have a way of grounding us, reminding us of stability and routine, and Janelle's bond with her dog shows us another layer of her resilience. Fans have always known her as the practical, level-headed wife, but now we're seeing her as a woman who is leaning into joy wherever she can find it, even in the everyday moments. That's part of why these updates matter so much to viewers. For years, we watched Janelle stuck in chaos, RV struggles, financial fights, arguments with Cody about Coyote Pass. Now, instead of hearing her stress about unrealistic timelines and broken promises, we're seeing her hands in the dirt, growing food and laughing about weeds. It's not glamorous, but it's real. And for fans who've stuck with her through the lows, these glimpses of stability and peace feel like victories we can share with her. In many ways, Janelle's garden is her version of Christine's Airbnb project. Christine turned her heartbreak and exit from the marriage into something productive and empowering, managing a property in Utah and even documenting her own small garden. Both women are showing viewers that healing doesn't always look like grand statements. It can be as simple as tending to plants, cooking meals, or creating safe spaces for family. And that's what makes Janelle's story so compelling right now. She's proving that the path forward isn't about extravagance, but about choosing daily practices that bring peace, growth, and connection. Gabe Brown's story has been one of the most heartbreaking yet inspiring arcs we've seen play out from the Sister Wives family. When news broke that it was Gabe who discovered his brother Garrison after his passing, the weight of that moment shook fans to their core. No sibling should ever have to face something so traumatic, and when Gabe opened up about it on screen, the rawness in his voice said everything words couldn't. He spoke not just as a son and a brother, but as a young man caught between unbearable grief and the already fractured relationship with his father. For many viewers, that scene became one of the most painful but unforgettable moments in the show's history. Of course, Gabe's grief was magnified by years of tension with Cody. Fans remember vividly when Gabe broke down, describing how his father had forgotten his birthday during the height of the pandemic, and how deeply that cut him. That pain didn't go away, and when Garrison passed, the cracks in their relationship were more visible than ever. Viewers rallied to Gabe's side, sending him messages of love, support, and empathy, often pointing out how he, like his mother Janelle, had been left out in the cold by Cody's choices. For a lot of fans, Gabe has become a symbol of resilience within the younger generation of Browns, and slowly, we've seen him start to move forward. Instead of letting tragedy define him, Gabe has been building small but steady steps toward independence. One of the ways he's done that is by connecting directly with fans through Cameo. What makes this so unique is how approachable he's kept it, charging far less than some reality TV stars and taking time to make personalized, heartfelt videos for people. Fans have noticed how genuine he seems in those interactions, and it's helped rebuild his identity away from the family conflict. It's as if he's saying, I may have come from this painful story, but I can write my own chapter. What strikes me most about Gabe's healing is how authentic it feels. He isn't putting on a show or trying to appear stronger than he is. Instead, he comes across as someone who's willing to share a little bit of his journey while still protecting his own boundaries. That honesty has drawn people to him. And when you place his resilience next to Janelle's, you start to see a powerful parallel. Mother and son, both broken by loss, both carrying the scars of Cody's neglect, and yet both finding ways to step into new versions of themselves. Janelle with her home, her garden, her family-centered vision. Gabe with his independence, his willingness to connect, and his choice to remain approachable to fans who care. Together, their stories show us that grief doesn't have to be the end. It can be the soil where new strength grows. And for Sister Wives viewers who have followed this family for years, watching Janelle and Gabe carve out fresh paths feels like a reminder of why we've cared all along. Because even in the darkest chapters, there's always the possibility of renewal. What makes this chapter of the Brown family so moving is how Janelle and Gabe's stories, though very different, echo each other in such a powerful way. On one hand, you have Janelle pouring her energy into building a dream home in North Carolina, a place close to her daughter Madison, filled with visions of porches, gardens, and spaces where her children and grandchildren can gather. On the other, you see Gabe choosing a path that's less about physical roots and more about personal independence, showing up for fans on Cameo and carving out an identity that isn't defined by the fractures in his family. Both mother and son are stepping forward, and both are proving that healing isn't about erasing the pain but learning how to carry it while still creating something new. The tree planted in memory of Garrison stands as one of the most profound symbols of this renewal. For Janelle, for Gabe, for all of the siblings, that tree is more than just a memorial. It's a living reminder of a son and brother whose presence is still felt every day. As it grows, it becomes a physical reflection of their love and their resilience. Fans have been deeply touched by this gesture because it's something that ties together loss and life in such a simple yet beautiful way. It's not a monument carved in stone, but a living thing, growing just as this family is growing through their grief. And despite everything he's endured, Gabe has shown remarkable optimism. Through his cameo videos and his interactions with fans, he carries himself with humor, humility, and an approachable warmth that make people want to cheer him on. That optimism, especially coming from someone who has seen such darkness, makes his journey all the more inspiring. What really ties it all together, though, are the everyday moments: family dinners, grandchildren laughing in the yard, Janelle finding comfort in her garden, and Gabe reminding fans that he's still here, still moving forward. The Browns may carry the weight of Garrison's loss forever, but what we're watching is their decision not to be crushed by it. Instead, they are weaving love and memory into their future. For Sister Wives fans, this has changed the way many see the family. Instead of just drama and fractured marriages, we're witnessing a story of endurance and growth. There's a curiosity now about what comes next, not just whether Cody's relationships will implode further, but whether Janelle and Gabe can continue to thrive in their own ways. More than that, it's a reminder for all of us watching that even in the heaviest of losses, family bonds, resilience, and love can light the way forward. Thank you for staying with me through such a heartfelt and emotional chapter of the Brown family's story. These moments of resilience, of quiet rebuilding after tragedy, are not easy to talk about, but they remind us of the very real human struggles behind the television show. Janelle's dream of creating a home filled with love, gardens, and grandchildren's laughter feels like a journey toward peace, while Gabe's strength in stepping forward with honesty and independence shows us how even the darkest pain can lead to new beginnings. But I want to hear from you. Do you believe Janelle will finally find the peace she deserves in her new chapter? And do you see Gabe carving out his independence in the right way, building a future on his own terms? Your thoughts always bring new perspective to these stories, and I can't wait to read your comments. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to TLC's Sister Wives Secret, hit that like button, and share your thoughts below. I'm Olivia, and I'll see you next time with more stories, more truth, and more heart from the world of Sister Wives. Until then, take care, and keep holding your loved ones close.